swerve, baby, call it. Whoa, whoa.
The Lions are known for their aggressiveness on going on fourth down. You guys have obviously been doing it a lot, the most efficient team in the league. Is it how wild of a difference is that from when you first got into the league and how teams treat fourth down?
Yeah, it's definitely different, and it has to do a lot with your team too in terms of how you play. But yeah, we had known that from an efficiency standpoint, they're excellent at it, we're excellent at it. So obviously, big parts of the game to go through it. So it has changed a lot, Ben. You're right to know that maybe a model at one time has changed, and that's kind of like one of the cool parts about football, man, where things evolve and change and going. And so you want to be bold without being reckless, and finding the right spaces, what the opponent does, what you guys do. So it's not one size fits all, but where you're at in the game, what do you need? So it's definitely moved from middle of it to near the top of the game, making game decisions.
Early thoughts on Detroit's defense? Just what they've always had a lot of injuries, but have still been pretty productive.
Yeah, good defense. They get their hands on the ball, obviously, with Kirby and I call him BB, but Brian Branch. Obviously, up front, what they could do, create pressure, play some man coverage because they trust their guys on the outside. It's going to be a challenge for us.
What's it like for the quarterback of this team when you're in it to win it at the last minute?
It's like kind of what he says, what you live for. It's what you kind of play the sport for. To when it's time to go out there and make plays, you're going to see who rises to the occasion and make plays. So, we kind of thrive there. Obviously, we would rather go out there and win by 20. But when those situations come up, that's what DQ and them preach so much, and they teach us about situational football, so we're always prepared for those moments.
Moving on to the injury report, starting with the Commanders, and our injury report is looking pretty good. 4 guys got rest today: James Crowder, Zach Ertz, Cleveland Farrell, Dante Fowler Jr. They got rest today, so they didn't practice, but they'll be fine for Saturday night's game against the Lions, so they'll be fine. Jordan McGee, he's not going to play this week, Dan Quinn said yesterday, so that does suck. McGee was playing really, really well on special teams towards the end of the regular season, and it was even starting to see some playing time on defense towards the end of the regular season, but unfortunately, I think he re-aggravated that hamstring injury versus the Bucs on Sunday night, so it sucks for McGee. Maybe if we move on to the conference championship, he will be back, but he will be out this week versus the Lions. Bobby Wagner, he didn't practice today with an ankle injury. He's going to be fine. It's Tuesday. If there's a day you shouldn't practice or can't practice, then it should be today. We just played a game literally 2 days ago. Probably not too much of a serious injury, probably a minor injury, an injury more on the minor side, right? Bobby's 33. He's a veteran. Don't want to push him too hard, right? He's going to be perfectly fine for Saturday night's game, against the Lions. Deron Payne, obviously dealing with that finger injury. He was limited today. I saw his IG post, man. His thumb was literally dislocated, so, hopefully he's good. I think he should be good. It's the playoffs, right? So maybe just wrap that thumb or hand up, put a big club on it or something like that, right? Just get it wrapped up, and then should be good to go for Saturday night's game, right? So I think Payne's going to be fine. Same with Zane Gonzalez, dealing with a hip injury. I think he was dealing with a hip injury earlier this year, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe like a couple of games ago, like 4 to 5 games ago, something like that. But I think he should be good to go for Saturday night's game as well. But that might be something to watch, but, we'll see. But I think he should practice full or limited tomorrow and Friday, or not Friday, sorry. Like, I keep thinking it's Wednesday, right? Because, Obviously we play every Sunday, usually not Saturdays, but everything's pushed back a day, or moved up a day. So today's Tuesday. We have practice again tomorrow, Wednesday, and then Thursday is our final practice. So I expect Zane Gonzalez to practice in some capacity tomorrow and Thursday. Ben Sinnott, shoulder injury limited. I think he should be fine as well. And then everybody else you see on here, John Bates, Dom Hampton, Marshawn Lattimore, Kosan Yankoff, Frankie Louvu, all full participants. They will all be fine for Saturday night's game. So this is a good looking injury report. And remember, today was a walkthrough, right? So tomorrow will probably be our heaviest practice of the week. So we'll really get a feel of who's going to be in and out. But if I had to guess, it's probably just going to be Kosan Yankoff, who's still on IR. Don't expect us to activate him off of IR this week, but it'll be him and Jordan McGee out this week. Everybody else should be good to go Saturday night versus the Lions, which will be really, really good. And then speaking of the Lions, their injury report, pretty good as well. Obviously, they're pretty much fully healthy. Obviously, they got a lot of injuries. Like, they got a lot of guys on IR, so they're not on here. But as for everybody that's on the 53-man active roster right now, they are pretty much fully healthy. David Montgomery, he suffered an MCL sprain earlier in the season, or I'm pretty sure he suffered that sprain like 4 or 5, maybe 6 weeks ago, right? So earlier on, he will be back this week, which obviously just our luck, right? But he's a really good back. Obviously, him and Gibbs, great 1-2 punch, right? You could argue the best 1-2 punch in the NFL at running back, right? So Montgomery, he's a dog. He's going to be back for the Lions this week. Terrion Arnold, foot injury, full this week, so he should be fine. And then everybody else for them, Kevin Zeitler, Pat O'Connor, Ennis Rakestraw, they did not practice today. But if I had to guess, all 3 of those guys will play. It's Tuesday once again, pretty much a glorified walkthrough today. So all those guys probably got some rest with the injuries. They don't want to push them too much today. So I expect them to practice tomorrow and Thursday. So I think those guys are going to be fine. So I think the Lions will have all their players or most of their players, and we should have all, if not most, of our players as well. So both teams are pretty much fully healthy. And then real quick before I get out of here, I want to talk about the Jets requesting an interview for our defensive coordinator, Joe Witt Jr., reported by Tom Pelissero today. Pretty interesting to me. I didn't think a single team was going to request an interview for Joe Witt Jr. I thought that he would become a very real candidate next hiring cycle, aka next year. But the Jets decided to request an interview with him, which is very interesting. And I don't think he's going to get hired this offseason. The Jets have been requesting interviews with everybody. They literally requested an interview and interviewed Ron Rivera early on in the hiring cycle. So I don't think Joe Witt Jr. is going to get hired by the Jets or hired by any team this offseason. So, you don't got to worry about that really. But it is interesting, right? Because Joe Witt Jr., he has been honestly a good coach this year. Like, I know some people bash Joe Witt Jr. at times with his play calls, his decisions with certain plays, and he just doesn't have the talent right now. Like, I really want to see what he can do with more talent on this defense. Like, we just don't have the bodies right now to do what he and Dan Quinn want to do on defense, right? So I'm not going to make a full-on judgment on Joe Witt Jr. until we get more talent on this defense. And for the talent we have on this defense, he's honestly done a pretty solid job this year, right? So, it is cool to see Joe Witt Jr. getting an interview request, but I doubt he gets hired this, offseason, right? So if you're a Commanders fan who loves Joe Witt Jr., who loves, what he's done this year with very limited talent on our defense, then you have nothing to worry about. He probably won't get hired this hiring cycle. Probably a hiring cycle or 2 in the later years. So, we shall see what happens then. But he's not going to be hired this offseason, so he'll be back for at least one more year, right? But this happens, right? When you're 12-5, when you win playoff games, when you got, a really good team, you're going to get looked at. You're going to get some coaches poached off of your coaching staff. And we've already seen Joe Witt Jr. and Cliff Kingsbury getting interest from other teams, right? Don't know if either guy will get hired this offseason, but they are pulling an interest, right? So, we shall see. But that is it for today's video. Hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, leave a like down below, subscribe, turn on notifications, and other than that, it's been King Sean, and I'm out. Peace.